Good morning. All right, let's introduce you to another project. So this summer I spent moving around a little bit using my Comanche 250, and when I brought it back this fall, I decided it was time to tear the engine down. So doing a full overhaul on that. It's already been split, everything taken apart, out for recondition. I had a spare case and crank that was already yellow tagged, ready to go. I sold it like a week before I made that decision, which is a big mistake. And then the guy who I sold it to, he's actually not going to end up using it, so I'm buying it back. So we're going to go to the airport, jump to the 180, fly about an hour and a half north up here into New York, and grab these pieces, and then we'll start an engine build here with that guy. Yeah, you ready? You ready to fly? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, made it back to the shop, got all this stuff unloaded. So this was what the flight was today, was to go retrieve all of these engine parts, which is basically a disassembled O-540. Most important piece right there was the crankshaft. All right, so I got all the parts back in the shop. So this is the engine parts that we picked up today up in New York. And these parts used to be here, and I had them as a spare set to rebuild the engine for my 59 Comanche. And about 2 weeks before I decided to actually bring mine down and pull it apart and split the case, I sold this set of parts right here. Unfortunately, when I split my case, I was a little bit unsure whether or not my crank's actually going to be serviceable. So the biggest piece that I wanted to get back for this project was this crankshaft right here, so I can get that plane back together and flying it airworthy, so I can be flying it this spring. But if everything does come back from my original engine, I'll have basically a second set of stuff to build up for another engine for anybody who may need it. But I got a case here, it's all been reconditioned. Got a full set of connecting rods. And I will need another 2 for my set that I sent to Airworks, because UPS, once again, bad luck with connecting rods. 2 departed the package, so only 4 of the 6 showed up. I got my sump, the rear accessory housing, and like I said, the crankshaft. I will have to buy some other pieces to really get this one moving. I'll probably buy a brand new set of lifters. I'm going to replace the 2-piece camshaft with a single solid piece, and then order all the bearings for it. And then I can get this thing, these halves together with the crank and everything into it, then waiting on cylinders, and then building up just the accessories on the outside after that. So stoked about this project and get it back going so we can get that airplane flying again, because it was definitely something I was using to get to and from different places, and it sucks when your airplane is not airworthy. So that's where we're at. So what we're looking at here, got connecting rods for the O-540. These are the old nuts and bolts here. Those will all be replaced when we go put it back together. Every time you pull those off, you got to put a new set in. There's two different types of bolts you can have there. There's the stretch torque type, and then there's the actual torque. And then the new ones that I'll get, they'll just be the straight torque. These are just the spares that I had for this project, so I need to get some more rocker arms. So I'm going to make a second engine out of all this, or I can just wait for mine to come back from Airworks. And then the case here, you can see it's been reworked. It's ready to go. So this thing just needs to get the bearings, lifters, camshaft in there, and we'll be good to go. Crankshaft here. The only thing I do need for this one, if I'm going to move forward before my parts come back, is I got to get some counterweight assemblies and all the parts to get that going, so I can close up the case halves. I got my sump, my accessory case. I will have to send this one out. I don't need to do it right away, but I believe for the O-540 as well, to go to the single piece cam, I got to get that modified a little bit, but I got to double check. That might be a new style already. It does have the journal mod for the oiler there on the idler for the oil pump shaft. So yeah, so I'll have to double check that one. That might be good, but that goes on after the case is all back together anyway, so I got time for that. And yeah, so I'd say I call today a success.